Are you ready to finally have financial stability and build wealth? One key component of wealth building is learning to manage your income. Yes, a budget. Because truth be told, it is not your income that makes you broke. It's your lack of discipline and financial strategy that makes you broke. Because be it, bus drivers to teachers to lawyers, to doctors, a lot of people making a lot of money or a little money are living paycheck to paycheck in America, because for the most part, people spend what they earn. So, they're not, I earn 100,000, I spend 100,000. I earn 50,000, I spend 50,000. So by creating a budget, this can help you break free of living paycheck to paycheck and finally start building wealth. In this video, I'm going to help you budget your money for wealth, show you how to set goals, create a budget, and what kinds of accounts you really need to successfully and strategically build wealth for the long term. I'm not going to go over how you should increase your income, not in this video, but increasing your income is a huge component to making sure that you are building wealth over the long term. But this video is really just about being good stewards of what you already have and being disciplined with whatever income you have coming in. Because we know people win the lottery and they have all of this money and still go broke within a couple of years. So it's not the money that you have, it's the discipline and the habits that you start that will really have you financially stable. The first thing that I'm going to go over is the first of the three is creating financial goals. What are you trying to accomplish with your income? Do not skip over this step, because if you don't have any goals, how do you know where to allocate your money? So you want to make sure you're thinking of things. Do you want to, beyond your basic food and shelter, do you want to be able to take vacations, buy your first home, retire by a certain age, pay off debt, pay for college, help other people, be charitable in your community or at your church? Your ability to succeed financially will be directly linked to your goals. So before you begin budgeting, make some goals that will require your income to accomplish. You should put a dollar amount next to each, just so you know how much you're going to need to reach those goals. Now, if you need some calculators, I will put them in the description of this video. For example, you may need a retirement calculator and those types of things, investment calculators. So if I invest in this area, how much will I have after a certain amount of years, depending on your age. But I want you to take some time and figure out what are your financial goals. Step 2, now you're ready to create a budget. In the description of this video, I'm also going to suggest some basic apps for you to use if you want to use technology, but I also want you not to be overly complicated with your budget. Complexity is the enemy of execution. I want you to create a budget and use that budget. And I don't want you to get sidetracked by different apps trying to get you to track it. If you find an app that works for you, great. If not, let's keep it super simple. Paper, pen, calculator. That's all you need. And we're going to create what I call a bare bones zero-based budget. And bare bones are, what are your basic needs, what you basically need to survive. And those are going to be things like food, shelter, gas for your car, just the basics. We're not putting clothing, like, we'll have to have a clothing budget and that sort of thing. We're not putting this in the budget. We're doing a bare bones basic budget, and it's going to be a zero-based budget. We're going to allocate all of our income to areas, to expenses, or to other areas that we need to reach our financial goals. So bare bones and zero-based budgeting. Here we go, and this is an example. So for your bare bones budget, for example, this person is making $5,000 a month in income. So everything that you make, your take-home pay, after taxes, if you're getting money from any other areas than your job, if you're doing side work, part-time, child support, alimony, whatever income you're receiving, I want you to put that in your income category. If your income is not as reliable, like maybe you work extra and sometimes you don't work extra, then you're not going to include this. Put your basic income and what you're guaranteed to get each month. And we're going to do our bare bones budget. So think about food, shelter, the basic things you need to get to and from work, nothing extra. Now, from this $5,000, we're going to subtract. This is just an example. You're going to use your exact numbers of what you need. Rent, that's housing, is $1,500. Food is $500. Gas for your car is $200. Your cell phone is $100. Then we have some utilities, electric bill, $185, water, $75, gas for your home, $50, car insurance, $145, student loans, $300, your internet service that you may have in your home, $140. And then after you've allocated your basic needs, and we're going to go over how you can reduce or eliminate some of those basic needs, the rest, what you have left over is $1,805. And again, this is just an example. This is going to vary based on your personal budget. So you have nothing left over. We're going to allocate that $1,805 to different areas depending on our financial goals that you've created in step 1. So before we allocate that money, we want this amount to be as large as possible because we're not earning any money from, meeting our basic needs. Those are basically consumables. Once we spend them, there's nothing left after we spend it. So we're going to have a lot of money left over so we can put in the areas toward our goals. So you're going to go through everything on your bare bones budget and say, okay, what can I eliminate or what can I reduce? This is particularly important if you don't have much money left over. If you're in the negative or if you have very little money left over to allocate toward your financial goals, you want to go to each item on your list and say, can I reduce or can I eliminate things in this area? For example, your rent or your mortgage, can you eliminate that? Can you move in with family and friends? Are you paying so much in one area of your life is stopping you from reaching any of your financial goals? So when you're looking at your rent or your mortgage, can you move in with somebody else? Do you need to sell your house? Do you need to get a cheaper apartment? What do you need to do? Do you need to get a roommate? What do you need to do in this category to either eliminate it or reduce it? And if you feel like it can't be reduced, you're going to leave it for right now. Things like food. What can you do to reduce, or you can't eliminate food, but what can you do to reduce that expense? If you find that maybe you're eating out at restaurants too often, you need to cook at home, you need to meal plan. How can you reduce the amount that you're spending in certain areas? Even gas. When you're going to gas, what you have to do is probably go to work, maybe run a few errands around your home. You don't have to take longer trips that are going to eat up gas. So you can, for every single category, figure out how you can either eliminate it or reduce in that area. So you have more money that you can allocate to your different financial goals. So step 3 is actually allocating money in these different areas. Now, step 3 is very, very important. Now that you've set some goals, you've created your bare bones zero-based budget, you are going to take any of the money that was left over and allocate it toward your goals. For example, if one of your goals is to make sure you pay off your debt, then you're going to set aside in your budget how much money is going to go toward your debt payoff. And this is very important even before you do some of your other goals, because usually debt comes with a higher interest rate, particularly credit card debt. So if you're trying to save in other areas, you're actually, it's being a negative because you're not paying off debt. You're paying interest on your debt. So that's something you want to prioritize as far as debt payoff. So how much per month are you going to be allocating toward paying off your debt? And then you should have in your goal a time in which all of your debt should be paid off. So if in this allocation, say you're putting $800 a month toward your debt, does that make your debt paid off in 10 months, 12 months, 6 months? You should know when your debt is going to be paid off if that's one of your financial goals. You want to be mindful. Student loans, I had student loans in the original budget of $300. If you have any kind of forgiveness, like an actual program, not that, the president's going to forgive your loans and you're not sure when that's going to happen. I am somebody that was a teacher, so I did get public loan forgiveness. So when I was sitting down and writing my goals to get out of debt, that's one of the things I said I'm going to pay, but I'm not going to pay all of it because I did qualify for student loan forgiveness. So that's something you want to think about when you're figuring out how much of your debt you want to pay, especially if you have student loan debt debt, and you may qualify for some of those forgiveness programs. The other thing you want to start to set up, these are some examples of the goals, is an emergency fund. Ideally, everyone should have an emergency fund of at least 3 to 6 months of expenses, because typically it takes you about 3 to 6 months to regain employment if you have a job loss. So that's why most financial professionals say 3 to 6 months. However, if you have an occupation that's not as stable, maybe you work on commission, like a real estate agent or something like that, you want to make sure you save more, maybe 12 months of your income, and that could be one of your goals. But the key in moving money quickly is, one, as soon as you get the money in, that debt is paid off. As soon as you get the money in, you're allocating some money toward an emergency fund account outside of your general checking account. And you're going to set up these accounts. Online banks are great. I love Ally. Ally is a great place where you can set up multiple accounts at the same bank. So say you have your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months, you're going to start funding that emergency fund, even if it's $50 a month, $100 a month, until you reach that 3 to 6 months of expenses. If you're having a retirement account and you open that, most retirement accounts, you just have to have $100 to start them, and then you can start funding them, maybe with your goal being to fully fund that retirement account based on how quickly you want to retire. Things like college funds. If you have children and you plan on saving for their college, you want to open up a college fund account and start funding that. You always want to prioritize retirement accounts over college funds. There are no scholarships for retirement. There is no financial aid for retirement. So if you have children, prioritize your retirement accounts over any college funds. And then you want things like other accounts for major expenses. If some of your goals are to take these vacations and to do, things that cost more money and you need to save for them over time, then you're probably going to have a major expense account. And then I have actually an opportunity fund account where I put some money that if, an investment or property may come up that we want to purchase, or something comes up that we need money that's not tied to retirement accounts, then we have an opportunity fund account. So whatever your goals are, you want to make sure you set up separate accounts. Some can be at the same financial institution, some may be at other financial institutions, but you're setting up these accounts and you're moving money quickly. No money should just sit in your account. That is going to help you build discipline. So you know that, I made a plan, I'm sticking to my plan, and then I'm having that money move quickly. So I'm not tempted to overspend because that money is just sitting there. That's going to help you build discipline and not spend emotionally with your income, where, I'm hungry, so I'm going to go eat out. If that money is not in your account anymore, then you don't have that money to spend because you made a strategic decision at the beginning of the month as to how much money you were going to spend on food. So we want to work on, when you're building a budget, especially building a budget for wealth, you want to make clear decisions, not emotional decisions, as to where the best place is to place your money, and not make, emotional decisions through the month, because those emotional decisions are usually not the best decisions for you to make. I have a wealth weekends checklist. And why I call it wealth weekends is because I know a lot of people don't have time to, spend months and days with their finances. So wealth weekend says, 1 week in a month, you're going to dedicate to one area until all 12 areas are taken care of, or at least you have a plan to take care of those things in this wealth weekends checklist. I'm giving you a link to that. It's totally free. Please download it. And then if you're a couple and you're trying to figure out how to budget, I have this video that I think you should watch next. If you have any questions about how to create a budget that's going to help you build wealth, then please ask it below. But if you follow those 3 things, goals, bare bones budget, and moving money quickly to reach those goals, you'll do great. You will have an opportunity not only to build wealth, but if you build on top of that, increasing your income, then you can do it even faster. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.